Hi, Aoifa. How are you doing? Welcome and thank you for coming to answer these questions for me. Aoifa, would you like to tell me what it is you do and where you are in the world?
Okay, well, I'm Irish. I live in Kildare in Ireland. I'm a certified money coach, author, and money mindset mentor, and just all-round fabulous person.
Love it. And when you joined Feng Shui Mastery, what was your intention for joining it?
My intention in the beginning was to get some clarity on where I was going in my life. I suppose, to be very mindful about clearing. And when I mean clearing, I don't mean clearing out the physical clutter. I mean more of the spiritual and mental clutter. And I wasn't happy. The house that I was living in, I just wasn't happy in the house. Couldn't understand why. And so my intention was to eventually move, but I thought I didn't really want, what I wanted to do is I needed to clear the house so that it would sell. I didn't put it on the market for another little while, but it was really just about, I knew the house wouldn't sell if it didn't feel right to me. Whether I stayed in it or not was irrelevant. But whatever happens, whether I go or stay, I want to be more comfortable in the house that I was residing in. It's a very long-winded answer to a short question.
It's okay. So in terms of your Feng Shui successes, how would you say your life has changed from where you were to where you are now since you joined Feng Shui Mastery?
It was changed very dramatically, and there are still areas for improvement. So I sold the house that I hadn't been happy in for 15 years. It only took me 15 years to realize that I wasn't happy. Sold the house, used Feng Shui to sort of crank things up a little bit. Bought and sold within 5 months of putting my own house on the market and closing on my new property, which is unheard of. The sale and the purchase of the houses, because it can be quite difficult when you're trying to line everything up. Yeah. That happened within an hour. The solicitor nearly fell off the chair. And I suppose and even just, I used Feng Shui to help me find the right home. So I was very mindful about orientation, where the positioning of the doors, what I was looking at, all of those sorts of things that help me find a more auspicious house for me. But and then I suppose the biggest thing was I met a very nice chap, and I used a combination of things to find him. Combination of hard graft and the vision boarding and lots of work on myself and an awful lot of brake discs about the place.
So a lot of the Feng Shui remedies and a lot of Feng Shui mental.
Yeah.
So so in terms of like how do you feel about when you started with the Feng Shui, you were like unhappy in the house that you're in, and there's been a big transformation. Yes. So like, how are you feeling now in terms of like your new house and your life changes?
I feel so much more comfortable. Even my son feels much more comfortable. Neither of us, we just couldn't put our finger on it why we just never really felt right in the other house. And it was I never even described it as home. It was always like that house or there or whatever. Whereas this, where I'm currently living, is home for now, because I don't know where I'm going to end up. There've been huge differences in my son. He's much more confident. He feels better about himself. He's much more relaxed. I'm not such a pain in the ass as I used to be, which is good. And people have even commented that I'm not such pain. They comment on the energy in the house, because people would come into where I used to live before and they'd sort of hover and not sit down and would just kind of be desperate trying to get straight back out again. And so the energy in this house is very different, almost to the point that people won't go away. So I need to just look at my helpful friends and people corner, because the house is like a train station. It's actually just getting ridiculous with the amount of people that turn up on the doorstep and won't go away. So there have been some huge changes. My next area of focus is fame, reputation, and prosperity. But the areas in my life that have changed dramatically have changed within myself, and finding a soulmate was huge, really, really huge.
Oh, that's amazing.
I
love it. ticking all the boxes. And actually it's like Talmar,
exactly.
she's just been like focusing on one place at a time. So it's like, you were like, I'm going to focus on getting this house sorted and then sold. Then I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do this.
Yeah. So I think
That's
sometimes it helps to do things
attention. Yeah.
kind of in stages. Otherwise it becomes very overwhelming. So I remember, and because I've heard you talk about how you met Ken many times, I could probably even give that speech myself. So I implemented a lot of those strategies about the two bedside rugs and the get his hangers and making the physical space and making the mental space, but this is before the person even existed, but his toothbrush, cleared space in the bathroom and did all of those things. So what was funny was when we were talking about how we I suppose manifested each other, was that he had done something very similar. He had never heard of feng shui before in his life until I mentioned it, but he had gone out and bought new sheets and had kind of tidied up a little bit and made physical space and made mental space.
Amazing. I love it.
Yep.
This is the best ever. They're the best ones. I'd be like, Aoifa and Suzanne, my poster children feng shui.
It was interesting. It was interesting actually that we both took kind of similar approaches, although he had genuinely never heard of feng shui before until I mentioned it, and he's still a little bit rabbit in the headlights, but he had sort of, I think unconsciously done a lot of these things and made it began before we'd even met. He had made space in his drawers and in his cupboard and was really looking at his life and his physical space to say, well, is there room for somebody else to come into this?
Amazing. I love it. That's so good. Good manifesting, Aoifa. You can manifest that, you can manifest anything. That's the thing. You see,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to say to anyone who's thinking of joining Feng Shui Mastery, or they're nervous or scared, or that joining or doing Feng Shui?
Yeah, gosh, there's always apprehension, and we fear the unknown more than we fear what we know. But if you stay safe, then nothing will change. And it is a big investment. It's a big investment of your time. It's a big investment of your money. But if you really, really want to make changes in your life, it doesn't matter what those changes are. If you show up, so that's showing up for yourself. So, make the investment. And if you don't like it, you don't have to stay. But make that investment in yourself. Block off a little bit of time every day, or even a couple of times a week to say, right, I'm just going to spend half an hour I'm going to do one video. I'm going to just do one area. I'm going to focus on even one corner, one drawer. That it can be a bit overwhelming. I think this is my 7th time probably to go through the videos. But just keep going. And it's every time you watch the videos, you listen, you hear something new, even if it's the same one and you listen to it 5 times, you'll hear something differently. So, keep your notes, keep your notebook. It works. It does work. And if you stick with it, if you just, it's so much as intentional. If you stick with it and you are clear on what it is that you want, stick with it, it will work.
Yeah. Love that. Thank you so much. I love that. Stick with it. Nothing will change if you stay safe. And yeah, I love that you've been listening to them. Now you have a whole new lot of videos to watch now.
I know, I haven't logged in yet.
Brand new videos.
I've been just a little bit overwhelmed with might have been a little bit distracted over the last little while, but anyway.
That's okay. It's all good. That's a very valid distraction. You have permission. Plus you've listened to them probably more times than most of the people who've done it. So
probably, yeah. And I think